the issue of a modern day Article 5 convention, constitutional convention, convention of states, whatever title we give it. Very important issue. Not something to be traipsed into lightly. There are a lot of sort of sub-issues in this that need to be closely weighed and examined before people make sort of a rash decision. This is one of those things where you jump out of an airplane because there were problems with the airplane, and then you realize, oh, perhaps, just perhaps, I should have put on a parachute first. So it's one of those things where, sure, there's a problem. I think any thinking person recognizes that there's a real problem right now in our government, in the situation, and that there has to be something done. The question is an Article 5 convention a safe bet? So one of the questions that I get, by the way, when I give this presentation sometimes is, well, Mitch, you seem like a nice guy, but, nice doesn't cut it. What are your qualifications to address this topic? Have you been to law school? No. Like most of our founding fathers, I have not been to law school. What I can do is read and investigate and understand. I have the same qualification to speak to this issue that anybody in this room probably has to listen to it. I'm a concerned patriot, watching my country go to hell in a handbasket, and watching a proposed solution that I think is more dangerous than the problems that we're facing. So my qualification to speak to this is that I have read the Constitution, I've read what the Founding Fathers had to say about the Constitution, I've been studying this issue for a quarter of my life, and I prepared myself to speak by referencing much of what the Founding Fathers have to say about Article 5. Because when we listen, for instance, or before I say this, are there any lawyers in the room? Oh good, I'm not going to offend anybody. So when a lawyer gives you an answer to a question, just realize that you're talking to a man who bills you by the hour to explain to you a document written by another lawyer. Maybe the fix is in, I'm just saying. The Founding Fathers weren't lawyers. Some of them were, most of them were not. I'm not saying they were unlettered men. They were merchants and fishermen and farmers and shippers. They were involved in industry and finance and commerce and business. Some of them were lawyers, most of them were not. And I am of the belief that the Constitution was written not to be interpreted in subsequent generations by lawyers. Those weren't the people debating it in the beginning. Go back and read the Federalist Papers. And you've got, Federalist here. So you've got whole pages of the Federalist Paper that are a sentence. And it's not a run-on sentence. Every bit of it, every clause, every comma, every semicolon in that sentence belongs there and serves a concise purpose. But that was written to be read by merchants and shop owners and farmers and regular people who were going to have to make a decision about whether or not to ratify the Constitution that they could also read, because it's written in fairly plain language. Any portions of it that are written in a language that is now kind of fallen out of misuse, that's why God created Google. You can look that up. There are law dictionaries. There are good libraries nearby. None of it's written in tongues. It's not some fake, strange foreign language that can't be understood by we mere mortals. That's your document. It belongs to you, to the people of this country. So let's talk about it for a second. Is an Article 5 convention a safe bet?